Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at error handling and how it works in Go. So you might have already come across this in other programming languages. However, today we're just going to look at how it works in Go. So errors are, of course, the undesired and unexpected result of running a program. So I'm just going to give you just thinking of an example. Right, yeah. So if we're making, let's say we're making an API call to a service, and then this API call, it can either be successful or it can be unsuccessful, in which case it fails. So an error in a Go program can be recognized when an error type is present. And to do that, all we need to do is, I'm just going to show you right here. Um, is a response and then error equals to, or we're going to declare the variables to http dot get, and then we're just going to say example.com. Right, so here we're basically trying to get this URL that could be either an error or it works. So so with the API, so the calls to the API could result in an error object or it may pass. We can check if the error is nil or present. So if it's nil, then it's not there, of course, and if it's present, then it is there. And to do that, I'm just going to show you right here. Actually, we're going to remove all the code except for this. So yeah, we're going to restart. First of all, a package name. We're going to make a new function. I'm going to call it main, and we're going to add this here. Right. So we've said http.get. Yeah, and imported us http. After that, what we're gonna say if error. So that's that right there. Is nil, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and oh, okay, yeah, and we're gonna go ahead and print out error, right? And then we're just gonna return to get out of the if statement, and then however, if that's not the case, then we're just gonna go ahead and print the response, right? Let's go ahead and run this. Just wait. And we just got printed out our response. So this was our response right here, or what we should say, just to make it easier to identify the error. Print run this, and we didn't get an error, so that's good. That means that our response is working. So we are successfully getting our response. Run this, and yeah, there we go. It's successful. So that's how we can check for errors. We can use the nil function, which means that there's nothing there, nil. So what we're going to look at now is returning a custom error from a function. So when we are writing a function of our own, there are cases when we have errors, and that's natural. That happens to everyone. So these errors can be returned with the help of an error object, right? So now we're going to look at the ERROR, so the full error object. right? So we're gonna leave that there, and we'll come back to that. We're just gonna go ahead and make a new function, call it increment, and then inside there we're gonna pass in n, and that's gonna be an integer. And what we're gonna have here is integer and an error, right? And now over here we're gonna say if n is less than 0, then what we're gonna do is go ahead, return nil. Alright, return nil. And as you can see, we just awakened that. And then errors dot new. So a new error, we're gonna make a new error, and we're gonna say it's math error. So, and then we're gonna say that we cannot process negative numbers, right? Too many arguments to return. We said n integer. Alright, yeah. We need a comma there, and then we know that it's two different arguments that we're getting. Nil return. It's gonna say error. Not gonna have the integer bit. Right. And now what we're gonna do is in our function.main, we're gonna remove all of this. We don't want that. And what we're gonna add in is yeah, we're gonna say that number is 5, right? So considering the number is 5, we shouldn't get the error. So if inc and then error is increment error, and then num, because we're passing in that right over there. So num and error is nil. Then what we're gonna do is go ahead and print failed, right? Yeah, we do need that there. And we'll just have 0. Yeah, unused variable, right? That's okay. And then over here we're gonna have else. What we're gonna do is fmt print line. We're gonna print. Actually, yeah, I know what we can do. So we can say failed number, and then we can give a description. So we're gonna change this to print a formatted line. And we've got that, and then error message, and then we're gonna have another v, right? And then what we're gonna do is say num and then error, right? So fail number, and then it goes to num, which is 5, and then it brings up the error, which is this error right there. Down here what we're gonna say is we're gonna say increment number, and then again gonna say that, and then we're gonna say ink. Go ahead, change this to print formatted, and yeah, okay. We don't need that anymore. There's an error there because we need to return something. Return n+1, and then nil. Oh, we have. Oh no, we don't have an error. Right, there we go. Go ahead, run this, and it says increment number 6. So we didn't get an error. So that was good. And our number's 6 digits higher, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So it's 6 digits higher. So we get that as well. What we're gonna do now is go ahead and try it with -1. And we get an error. So fill number -1. Error message is math error, cannot process negative numbers. So we just called that error from right there to be over here. And that's how we use that's how we return a custom error from a function in Golang. So most of the packages that are built in Go or external packages that we normally use have a mechanism. So what we're going to look at now is panic and differ. So panic is something that is unhandled and is suddenly encountered during a program execution. So we're running a program and suddenly we get an error. We don't know what it's about and it just comes up suddenly. So in Go, panic is not the ideal way to handle any errors or exceptions that you have in a program. It's recommended that you use an error object instead. So that is that error bit right there. So you use that. And that is first of all, it's because when a panic occurs, the program execution gets halted. So the thing that gets executed after a panic is the differ, which is something that always gets executed at the end of the function. So that's after the panic has been done. So let's I'm just gonna write out an example just so I can um show you a bit better. Just thinking. Yeah, I think we're just gonna restart again. Right. So package main. There we go. And then here, what we're gonna say is we're not gonna import anything. Actually, it does that for us anyways. Um, we're gonna create a main function. You're not gonna put anything in there yet. It's gonna go ahead and create another function. We're gonna call it x, and in there we're gonna have differ, right? And then we're gonna have another function in there. There you go. Um, and then what we're gonna do is inside the function we're gonna say if just thinking what should we say um I think what we should do is declare another variable that will yeah I think that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna declare another variable I, and it's gonna be recover, right? So panic and recover. I'll go over all of this code again just in a minute. I'm just gonna write it all down first because when I'm writing I can't speak very well, as you've probably already noticed. So we can say fmt dot println dot println, and then it's gonna print out recovered, right? Um and then we're going to print out R. So whatever that's going to be. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to say fmt. So if that's not the case, if there's not been, if nothing wrong's happened yet, we can print out calling. Yeah, we're just going to print out calling. And then, yeah, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have multiple different functions that we're going to call one by one. So you're going to say calling G, and then we get G, and then so we'll make the G function after this, and then after that we're going to just go ahead print out returned successful, actually. Successfully returned G. Now again, go ahead, create a new function. And be G is going to have I, which is going to be an integer. Just pass that in right there. And now here what we're going to say is that if I is more than 3, then what we're going to do, go ahead and print out panicking. We don't want that to happen. If it's less than 3, we don't want it to be less than 3. And then we're going to use the panic function, and then we're going to say fmt dot sprint f, and then we're going to have v and then the I, right? So that's our if statement. However, if that's not the case, then we're going to differ fmt print line, and we're going to print out differ in G, right? And then we print out I after that. After that, we go ahead and print out printing G. And then finally, after you pass in I there again, after that, what we just say finally is G and then brackets I plus 1. Right, okay. Back to our main function. We're going to call it f. And then fmt print line. We're just going to print success. Right, we're running this now. Undefined f. Thought we named it to f, but no, we didn't. There we go. Right, so let's go through this. Right, so first of all, it's calling G. So it's not done the differ function yet. It's not gone to the differ function yet. So what it does is that it calls G, and then it prints G, and then it prints out 0, 1, 2, 3. As you can see here, it prints out 0, printing G, 1, 0, printing G, 1, printing G2, and printing G3. And that only happens until it gets up to 3. After it gets to 3, what happens is this. So it prints out panicking, and then there's a panic. So again, we start going down. So differ in G, dot dot dot, we go 3, 2, 1, 0. After that, that's all finished. So we go back up there to the differ function, and we print out recovered, and then we print out integer 4. So that's what it what the ending one was, and at the end we print out success. So right, okay. So the code. So in this example, we basically panic the execution of the programming using using panic, right? Uh, as you've probably already noticed, there is a differ statement which will make the program execute the line at the end of the execution, right? So the line at the end of the execution of the program. Uh, so the line at the end of the execution of the program. Differ can also be used when we need something to be executed at the end of the function. For example, closing a file. So we can use the differ function to close a file as well. And so that is how we do error handling in Golang. In the next video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at concurrency. In for the next few videos, we're gonna look at concurrency. So it's Go routines, there's channels, and yeah, there's all those sorts of stuff that make Go concurrent. So I'll see you then, and bye.